Okay, so this is my classroom management final. So first we're gonna go over, sorry, let me move that screen. First we're gonna go over the primary kids, and so these are preschool. So they love to learn through play. They're very, very physical and they learn best when they're playing and imagining things. They're very social and they're very friendly and they like to play with others. They're also very awkward and they hold a pencil with a fist because they don't have very fine motor skills. And they also love to use big words that they don't understand. They have a very crude language they don't know how to use. And so they kind of say whatever comes to mind, but they love to talk and they love to be read to because it is very good for them. They love big person jobs and they love to be involved in the class. They really want to know what's going on and they want to be a part of it. And you have to be very fast paced with these students. You have to be on top of it and you have to keep moving because they lose interest very, very quickly. They also just really want to be a big person and they take a lot of inspiration from the adults in their life. So, next is kindergarten. So, they're very literal and they also learn very well through active and they're very, very proud of the work that they do and they don't care that if it does not look like a rainbow. If they drew like 10 rainbows for you, they're so proud of it. They don't care if it doesn't look like a rainbow. They're also very dependent on the adults in their life and they're very enthusiastic. They love surprises. They love to explain. So for them, gifts is a very motivating factor for them. Sorry. And then they're very active, but they can control themselves better than the primary group because now they can sit in a desk for longer times. But they also tire very quickly. So you have to have a routine for them. They rely on it very, very much. They also are very centered on gross motor learning, so they want to be very active and they can learn best when they're moving and playing and jumping. And they are very motivated by rewards. So this is second grade. They're completely into perfection and they're little neurotics and they want to ask a million questions. They really want to know what they're doing and they want to know why they're doing it and they want to do a good job what they're doing. So they'll erase everything that they have and they'll redo it if it's not up to perfect standards. But to them, it will be perfect, but to you, it'll still be just a mess, but they want it to be perfect. They also need reinforcement. This is the time where they start to gain when they start to gain anxiety from tests and performance, and they're more aware of their fine motor skills and they're able to tune into them. So you need to reward their behavior because that is really what they strive on and they take most into. They need a structured classroom, and then this is really important in a structured classroom so that they have repetition and that they can be calmed by that. Our intermediate is 5th and 6th grade. So they like rules and logic. They can concentrate for a lot longer, so they can do a lot more hard work and for longer amounts of time. They're really proud of their work, but they will take revision and they want you to, and they want you to correct them. They love to argue and they want to challenge the rules and they want to see what they can get away with. They work well in groups and they really enjoy family and peers more than they did before. And they also really like rewards. They also are getting more development in the large muscle development and they need physical challenges or else they will start to get a little crazy. So you need to have cooperative learning put in there because they work best in groups. You can introduce higher thinking to them, but you really need to have rules and procedures stated because they will test limits and they want to know how far they can push you and what they can and cannot get away with. And you can do it by stopping bad behavior and encouraging the good behavior for them. So then we're into the junior high. So they are able to do abstract reasoning, which is really huge because they weren't able to before. They don't like to take big risks, but they do like to challenge authority, kind of like the other ones. They're really interested in human issues and they want to know more about the things that are going around them. They're also able to write better than they speak, so they're able to write down more than they're able to say to you. They also are starting to feel peer pressure. They're starting to get sarcastic. They also think that they're unique and that they are unlike anyone else in the world and that they're a special person. They also act out when they're embarrassed because they get embarrassed a lot more easier. They're also more hormonal, so then they have a lot of skin issues, and then you are able to tell that they're going through puberty. The girls are developing way faster than the boys, and they're at least a year ahead, but sometimes they fluctuate. But the boys are pretty young, and you can definitely tell when you go into a classroom and you can see the difference between the boys and the girls' development. You need to have the rules and procedures clearly set because they will try it and they will test you. You need to have group work because they work really well in cooperative learning. They need less active-based learning and more lecture-type learning and more higher-level thinking. And you need to have something to do with bullying because they are starting to learn how to be mean to other kids and actually mean it and want to hurt other kids' feelings. So high school is really crazy because they are almost adults, but they're not. So they're able to have higher level thinking. They're able to analyze cause and effect, and they're really interested in the world. And they function well in groups, and they look like adults, but they are not adults. But they are able to think like adults and make decisions like adults, but they are not able to do it very well. But they do understand their consequences of their actions. They also are able to start to hone in on special skills. So if one kid is more inclined to be physically active, they'll start to take an interest in it and to be able to be really good at it, while other kids will be able to be good at English, math, all those things. They're able to really hone in on their skills. Rules and procedures, again, enforced because they will test you and they will try to break the rules. Group work is really effective, and cooperative learning is really big for them, and that's how they learn most. And they also really want to be involved in the things that they do, and so they start to take an interest in what they can and cannot do. So they start to take interest in student government and how they can put their impact on the school and how they're learning. They are also internally and externally rewarded, so it's not always just about giving them treats. If you give them time or a homework pass or something, they will be just as motivated for those as well. So the most effective classroom management is being a good teacher, and what a good teacher enlists is being held accountable for your actions, controlling the classroom, helping students when they ask for it, explaining assignments clearly and having every student understand them, to vary the routine so they're not bored, and to take time to connect with the students. And that's what students say is the best. A well-managed classroom, students are working and understand the assignments. Class starts immediately with bell ringers, rules and procedures are clear, and teachers praise students, which is really big because you need to praise the students. And the discipline is really big. So it's used to master behavior and not punish it because you want to reward it and you don't want to make an example of the kids, but you want them to understand what they are not doing wrong. It helps you create an orderly environment and helps you create a better classroom where kids know what is right and what is wrong. And then where there are bad consequences are good. And that's really important because you need to reward the kids who have good behavior, and whoever works learns, which is really big. And Harry Wong says that because if you are working to teach the students what you're teaching, they're not learning. You're learning the material. And so they need to be working and learning at it. Disruptive behavior, you need to stop bad behavior immediately. An ounce of prevention is a pound of cure, which is really big. So once you stop something, it can prevent it from becoming a big thing. Interventions, you need to you need to ignore bad behavior. So if something is happening, just ignore it for a minute. If it gets worse, then just go. Nonverbal contact, like giving a look, and proximity is huge. Just walk over to where the student is and they will stop. They'll stop whatever they're doing. And you need to praise students, not the behavior. So you need to praise what they're doing and what they're doing right instead of always what they're doing wrong. So Skinner is a psychologist who believes that behavior is a reward. Behavior that is rewarded will most likely be repeated, while negative behavior will less likely be repeated. And so that's for behavior. Piaget is all about schemas, and it's where information that you already learned you can use again, but while new information that is taken in will be able to be applied to situations. And Vygotsky is about children are able to learn but need a guide to help them understand new information, because you can't give a child a pencil and expect them to know how to write. You need to teach them how to write. And these are my sources. Thank you